rocks the screen. She's a straight shooter, if you know what I mean. Dishing out the truth about the royal scene, with a fist of fire and a voice so keen. Hitting hard with those alter Brit vibes, no sugarcoating the false alibis. Tearing down the lies she despises. Yorkshire lass with fire in her eyes. Stef don't play, she holds the line, shouting from the rooftops across the digital vine. Harry and Meghan under her sign, fearless and bold with a soul that shines. In a sea of fake, she's a beacon bright, unraveling the drama without a fright. Armored with honesty, ready to fight. Injustice quivers at her sight. Unbreakable will won't be confined. Mind of steel and heart redefined. Rhetoric sharp, leaving dust behind. In Stef's world, truth is intertwined. Stef don't play, she holds the line, shouting from the rooftops across the digital vine. Harry and Meghan under her sign, fearless and bold with a soul that shines. Will won't be confined. Mind of steel and heart redefined. Rhetoric sharp, leaving dust behind. In Stef's world, truth is intertwined. Stef don't play, she holds the line, shouting from the rooftops across the digital vine. Harry and Meghan under her sign, fearless and bold with a soul that shines.
Hey up everyone, it's me, Stef The Alter Nerd, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to the Daily Nerd Alive Sunday edition. How are y'all doing? How has your weekend been? Of course, anyone in the UK, unless you've been living under a rock, congratulations to the England women's football team for winning the Euros 2025. Myself and Mr. Fox, yeah, we were out and we watched the game with some friends, and yeah, we had some fun. Now, admittedly, just to, be real with you guys, I do have dual nationality. I am Italian as well, and yeah, in football tournaments, I support Italy. So yeah, congratulations to England for winning the Euros. With that being said, let's jump into the rundown for today's Daily Nerd Live for Sunday, the 27th of July, 2025. And first and foremost, yep, shiz the bed indeed. Meghan Markle, shocking move post Netflix dump that's left Harry fuming. What the deuce is going on? We're going to get into that for the first topic for today's live stream. Then we're going to get into the second one, which is divorce. Yeah, because reports are coming in that Megsy is now planning to divorce Harry after the Netflix acts. What's going on there? Who's saying it? And why? We'll jump into that for the second topic for today's live stream. We're then going to get into the third topic after that, which is, yep, Megsy has failed to get a new streaming contract from Netflix rivals. Thoughts are coming through that, yeah, she's going cap in hand trying to go elsewhere. No one's biting. Why? And who has she gone to? And interestingly enough, who has rejected her? because she's been cozying up to a certain kind of CEO of a streaming kind of situation. And yeah, even they're telling her to piss off. Who am I talking about? We'll get into it for the third topic for today's live stream. And then the fourth one, guys, well, that is entirely up to you. The bonus Harry and Meghan story. How do you guys get to unlock that? Well, only if you can, of course. We do have the super chat goal set up for today's live stream. So in the next hour, if we get 10 super chats, then you guys will have unlocked the bonus Harry and Meghan story for today's live stream. And we're already a fifth there. Firstly, thanks to Jessie581. Thank you so much for the $2.99 sugar bucks saying, let's go. Love your channel, Steph. Well, to be fair, I'm biased. I'm going to agree with you. You're not going to get any disagreements from me, essentially. I love my channel too. Thank you so much. And also, thank you so much, Jessie581, before this live stream even started, gifting one leadership to one of you lucky lots out there. So everyone say, A up to our newest leaders, courtesy of Jessie581. Guys, who is going to respond to Jessie581 and kick off today's gifting wars? Guys, we may soon find out. Also, as well, big, massive thank you to Shelley Roylance. Thank you so much for the £1.99 sugar bucks. Saying we need the fourth story to keep us on our toes. Well, guys, just 8 more super chats to go before we hit the goal. Please bear in mind, and this is a YouTube thing, all right? Super chat stickers still, for some reason, do not count towards a super chat goal. The reason really escapes me at this point, to be fair. So please do bear that in mind. Now, before we jump into it, a little bit of housekeeping. First and foremost, if you guys don't know, I do have a second channel called Political Nerds. For those that don't know, I have a degree in international relations and security studies, so politics is my academic wheelhouse. So if you want even more content from me, then please head on over to Political Nerds. If you're watching on YouTube, the link is pinned right at the top of the live chat, and it's also in the description bar below. And for those watching on YouTube or X, tomorrow we have a special Red Alert broadcast at 6 o'clock in the evening UK time, which is 1 o'clock Eastern, because the government is now trying to censor and control us British citizens online through what they've brought through called the Online Safety Act that's just come into law. The UK is now being ruled, essentially as far as I'm concerned, by a dictatorship. And so please, this is a very important one, guys. Tune in tomorrow for the Red Alert broadcast at 6 o'clock p.m. live, because the world needs to know what our government is doing against us. Is doing to us, against us. It's absolutely freaking insane, to the point where, guys, I shiz you not, they could actually be breaching our own human rights. And you've got Keir Starmer completely turning around and saying, well, China ain't that great when it comes to human rights. Well, guess what? He isn't either, really, in the grand scheme of things. So 6 o'clock tomorrow, live on Political Nerds. Be there or not be there. It is what it is. Also, as well, guys, Lisa Boo, thank you so much for your continued support for the leadership for the last 36 months. Saying 3 years, wow, time flies. When you're having fun, absolutely. Spank that like, everyone. Much love, Steph and everyone. Thank you so much. Happy 3-year anniversary, Lisa Boo. I appreciate your face. So a couple of other things before we jump into it. Next week, I think I've mentioned this. I'm sure I have. I'm an open book, really, at the end of the day. But next week on Tuesday, I am going to be in hospital and I'm going to be having an operation. It's a day operation. I'm going to be fine. Don't worry about it. It's literally in and out. I'm in. I'm going to do what they need to do. And then they're going to kick me out. But yeah, on Tuesday, I'm going to be in hospital for an operation. The chances are that content next week might be a little bit off. As of course, I'm having my operation and I don't know really, in the grand scheme of things, how my recovery is going to be from this. I've never really had this kind of operation before. So, yeah. I'm a bit nervous, to say the least. But yeah. So just to let you guys know, next week, content-wise, might be a little bit off. Please do bear with me on that. I'm hoping that I'm going to be back within 24, 48 hours, really, after the operation, but I really, really don't know. I'm hoping that the lives will go ahead next week as usual and all that jazz, but yeah, it's all up in the air. So when it comes to next week, please bear with me. Appreciate your faces. Let's see what else you guys are saying before we jump into the first topic for today's live stream. Let's have a gander here. Sarah Arben saying, hey up, Sarah. I'm supposed to be doing my online food shop. I'm procrastinating. Naughty. Get your online food shop done, lass. Whilst you're watching. So you can do it all at the same time. Multitasking. Lisa Boo, thank you so much for the $2 sugar bucks saying, Alter Nerds assemble and get this goal done. Thank you so much. Sarah saying, I'm enjoying political nerds. Our country is falling apart. Yeah. Not that I'm encouraging this in any way, shape or form with what I'm about to say, but my observation of the whole situation is that I'm not going to be surprised if the UK descends into civil war. It's scary over here. It really, really is. If I had the means, I would up sticks and move to America. I really, really would. Like, seriously, no joke, without hesitation. Like, seriously, being in the UK right now, speaking out against the government, speaking out against the illegal immigrants and the illegal immigrant hotels, it's scary. People are literally getting police knocking on their door, being like, why are you saying hurty words against illegal immigrants online? Like, I shiz you not. That's what's happening. So, yeah, our country's falling apart. And if Keir Starmer's not careful, I fear we are going to be, descending into civil war. Let's see what else you guys are saying before we jump in. Jeffrey, hey up, Jeffrey Crownwell, thank you so much for tuning in. And that very, very generous $10 sugar box. Appreciate your face. Thank you so much. Head mod, Starmer's the biggest turd. You ain't getting any arguments from me, mate. Jeffrey, thank you so much for your continued support for the leadership for the last 14 months. Appreciate your face, mate. Thank you so much. Helena says, I hope it's going to be okay from the surgery. Yeah. It's sorry, I think like an eyelash in my eye. Sorry, guys. Yeah, it's a standard surgery. I've had worse. Let's put it that way, guys. This is piddly in comparison to the worst surgery I've had. But yeah, I hope it's going to be all right as well. I also need to speak to my surgeon because I need to find out how long I need to recover before they'll clear me to fly. Because I need to go back to Italy to see my family with the situation that's going on over there. It's deteriorating faster with me granddad. So yeah, a lot going on. Life sometimes gets in the way. It's just one of those things, right? Saj, thank you so much for the $2 sugar bucks. How's Georgie and Olivia? Love the pictures you send me behind the scenes. Absolutely gorgeous. Thank you. Saying Australia will welcome you, Steph. I'm sure you guys will. It is on my bucket list to one day visit Australia. That is for damn certain. And my goodness, guys, we're already halfway to the super chat goal of 10. And you guys unlocking the bonus Hazard and Meg's story. So keep them coming. Anyone that sends super chat stickers, member-only chats, gifts leadership, or becomes a leader, guys, I'll get to you as and when I can whilst I'm going through the first topic for today's live stream, which, if you think we've heard the last of Meghan Markle since Netflix axed her, then think again. Because her next desperate move post-Netflix has allegedly been revealed. And Yeah, I don't think Hazza is going to be a fan of this particular move. So let's jump into it, shall we? Because last year's rumours were going around about Megxie releasing her own memoir and that there was a bidding war around it. And so, in particular, this article here from Sky News explains that the word in publishing circles is that everyone's mad to land Meghan's memoirs. And the numbers being thrown around are ridiculously high. An insider told Closer magazine. The insider goes on to say that they're talking tens of millions for her biography. And then it's going to get to a point where she can't resist. She ain't going to say no. Now, insiders suspect, and to be fair, I would put good money on this, that when, not if, right, but when Megxie releases this memoir, she's going to go nuclear against the royals. She's going to try and humiliate the royals. And the insider warns, look, love her or hate her, there's no denying that she has an insight into the royals that no one else can share. Now, soon after reports came out that Megxie was delaying Soon after reports came out that Megxie was delaying the release of a memoir. And so here from the Mirror, they were reporting that Meghan Markle deliberately delays the release of tens of millions tell-all memoir for one crucial reason. Now, what is that crucial reason? Well, the article says here, however, rather than penning a book, Meghan has concentrated her efforts on launching a lifestyle brand, American Riviera, whatever, now known as ever. A source suggests that Meghan could be biding her time for the ideal moment to release her own tell-all book, which could potentially net her tens of millions of dollars. Now, fast forward to April of this year, when she was on the Jamie Kern-Lima podcast, she was asked about this rumoured memoir, and this is what she actually had to say on the matter. She says, "I've got a lot more life to live before I'm there." Well, it looks like she may have changed her mind on that one. Because when she said to Jamie Kern-Lima that she has a lot more life left to live before she writes her memoirs and publishes it, well, that answer in of itself, did you notice that wasn't a denial? She didn't turn around and say, there's no memoir. I'm not doing a memoir. As has been there, done that, got the t-shirt, I'm not doing it. She didn't deny it. She did not rule out writing and publishing her memoirs. And so for her to turn around and say, I've got a lot more life to live before I'm there, could potentially be seen as well as a threat to the royal family. And now, without her multi-million-dollar deal being renewed, well, Megxie does need to find another way to earn money and fast. And with reports from last year confirming that there is a multi-million-dollar bidding war for her memoirs, at this point, I don't think she'd be able to resist. Especially now that Netflix has completely dropped her. She's lost any possibility of that being renewed. Well, she needs to find money from elsewhere and fast. Because without Netflix, opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, how long do you think Hazza and Megxie can afford the mortgage payments on their Montecito Royale home? Now, reportedly, the mortgage payments are $350,000 a year. And based on that French programme, Harry and Meghan Royal Business, that came out a couple of years ago that I reported on, there were experts on there saying that maintenance costs alone at Montecito Royal is about a couple of million. Then you've got security costs on top of that, which again is another couple of million. Then you've got private school for their children, Megxie's clothes and her own lifestyle, let alone Hazza's. Opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, I think they could be spending close to $10 million a year minimum for all of that. Yeah, they're spending like they're billionaires when they're actually millionaires. And so, looking at this particular article here, since news of the Netflix deal being dropped was made public, you've got royal expert Richard Fitzwilliam turning around and saying, quote, "What would sell is another memoir. Harry told us when Spare was released that he cut 400 pages as they would be toxic for the royal family." And he said this specifically when he was being interviewed by The Telegraph. The only interview he did with a newspaper during his promotional tour of Spare, mind you. Now, Richard Fitzwilliams also turns around and says the royals will be concerned that the Sussexes could publish another memoir. And this time it could be Meghan or Harry could write a memoir about his early life. Now, overall, let's put it this way. Why would Hazza hate Megxie publishing her memoirs about her life during her time in the royal family? Why would he hate that? Well, think about it. Because it would totally torpedo his alleged efforts to make peace with the royals. We all now know about that infamous photo that got leaked or whatever to the media, where it was reported that that meeting was allegedly peace talks between Hazza's representatives and the King's representatives. Well, if Megxie publishes her memoirs about her life during her time in the royal family, what do you think is going to be happening to those alleged peace talks? They're going to go freaking kaboom. Megxie's literally going to nuke those peace talks by publishing her memoirs. It's going to totally torpedo Hazza's alleged efforts to make peace with the royal family and further isolate him from his family. And perhaps in some Machiavellian kind of way, that might be what alleged narcissist nutbag from hell Megxie would want. So, going around full circle, in terms of Megxie's new shock move, since Netflix announced that they're not going to renew the contract, that they're done, the shock move, allegedly, is that, yeah, she's going to speed up, essentially, publishing her memoirs to try and get money in fast, since losing any future moolah from Netflix. And why would Hazza hate that? Because the memoirs, allegedly, are going to be about her life during her time in the royal family, and why wouldn't they be, right? That's the reason why she would get so much money for her memoirs. But by doing that, you think she's going to be complimentary to the royal family? Not a chance. She's still going to play victim as far as I'm concerned. The royal family are going to be the evil people from hell, blah, 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 blah. And what's that going to do to Hazza and his alleged efforts to try and make peace with the royals? Well, you can kiss any of that goodbye. And you think he's going to appreciate Megxie causing that? I don't think so, do you? With that being said, those watching live, whether you're watching on YouTube or on X, stay exactly where you are, because I'm not done with you guys yet. We're going to get onto the second story in a moment because, yes, reports are also coming through. Yeah, Megxie is now thinking about divorcing Hazza after the Netflix axe. What is going on there? Why are they saying it? We're going to jump into that for story number 2 in a moment. But for those watching, if you're watching on YouTube, for more misadventures of the gruesome twosome, please make sure you subscribe to join our Alter Nerd tribe. And if you're watching on X, make sure you're following me at Stef Alter Nerd. Like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. Do you think Hazza would hate Megxie publishing her memoirs if it totally torpedoes his alleged efforts to make peace with the royals? I think he would hate Megxie for that. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. And yes, before we get into the second topic for today's live stream, let's see what you guys have been saying in the live chat. First and foremost, my goodness, thank you so much to Stephen Magnus, the big SM is in the chat. Hey up, dude. Thank you so much for the £5 sugar bucks, my friend. Saying, Halo Trust USA, major grant money given yearly. US Department of State, Bureau of Political Military Affairs, Office of Weapons Removal and Abatement. Whoa. Like, seriously. The royal grift. If anyone wants to know more, the ins and outs of Hazza and Megxie and their links to government money, this, that, and the other, right? And it's alleged links to government money. Gotta be very careful there. Yeah, you gotta watch the royal grift. She's on it. She's done the research. She knows her shiz when it comes to that topic. Abso-freaking-lutely. Let's see what else you guys are saying before we jump into the second topic. Teresa Brown says she wants to control everything, even with the kids. My feeling, the kids don't go to school and will be homeschooled by private tutors. Yeah, because, you know, because of security. it's just an inflated kind of view of herself. It's insane. Phoebe Bear says, the truth is, I personally wouldn't waste my time reading anything that Meghan or has-been have to say because we all know how it will only be a book of fiction. You say that, but let's be real here, yeah? Not if, but when Megsy releases her memoirs, it's going to be exactly like Spare. And if anything, it might be a conspiracy theory, whatever, it's going to sell more than Spare. Because her alleged narcissistic nutbag self, as far as I'm concerned, won't be able to resist sensationalizing absolutely freaking everything, right? And demonizing the royal family to an absolute extreme, to the point where I'll be 100% with you. I won't be able to resist. I'm buying that book and then doing a shiz ton of videos on it. And let's be real here. A lot of Mexiteers in the YouTube community will do exactly the same thing. Why? Because A, it's our job, right? It's what we do. We report on the world of Harry and Meghan and give you our opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever about it. But B, for better or for worse, there will be an appetite for people to know what's in the memoirs, what's she written. We'll buy the books, you don't have to. How about that? But yeah, let's, I'm saying the quiet part out loud. I ain't got notes to hide. I'll keep it 100 with you guys. Jesse581, thank you so much for the $2.99 sugar book, saying just cause. Oh, aren't you sweet? Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, wow. Dude, you really hammered today's super chat goal. Big SM in the chat saying, Meghan has so many versions. Which story to print? Exactly. And this is the thing, right? Whatever she writes in her memoirs, yeah? Opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. There's always going to be something that she said earlier on, right? In a newspaper, magazine, or whatever, that's going to contradict what's in her memoirs. Mark my words, that's exactly what's going to happen, amongst other things as well. I'm telling you, I see it happening. We've got, wow, Lena Sanders, thank you so much for the $2 sugar bucks. Joan Murdoch, thank you so much for the £5 sugar bucks. And my goodness, Flapper27, guys, hearts in the chat for Flapper27, because Flapper27 just showed up yet again. And Flapper27, my goodness, your kindness and your generosity continues to astound me. Like, dude, thank you so much for that massive $50 sugar bucks. Guys, Flapper27 has just ruined a shiz ton of sugars days by sending a shiz ton of sugar bucks my ways. Hearts in the chat right now for Flapper27, because, wow, thank you so much. Saying, Steph, any news or whisperings about the millions siphoned from US aid by the Harkles? So, again, let me be very clear on this. I'm aware of it and of the basics, but I'm not the person to come to get that information. You need to go to the TRG. You need to go to the Royal Grift. The Royal Grift is, as far as I'm concerned, at the forefront of this particular story. She spearheaded it. She knows all the links, all the info, the whole lot, really, from A to Z. The Royal Grift is the expert on this one. So please make sure, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to TRG because she knows her shiz when it comes to this. That is for damn certain. But yeah, Flapper27, thank you so much for the $50 sugar bucks. Again, that's highly, highly generous of you. My goodness. Saj, thank you so much for the $2 sugar book. Say the title of a book, Narcissist, the Ego Within. You think she'd be that self-aware? She ain't. She ain't. But it would be a fun title for her to use, that is for certain. Carol says lawyers will need to pull her memoir apart. I mean, you say that, but this is the thing, right? In America, you guys are extremely lucky for having the First Amendment. So, yeah, she'll be protected under that. And quite rightly so. I wish, in the UK, we had something similar At the moment, our liberties, our free speech is literally under attack by our own government at the moment. Our own government is trying to censor us, is trying to silence us. And so, yeah, let me just segue into, in terms of my second channel, tomorrow there is an emergency red alert broadcast. I'm going live on Political Nerds at 6 o'clock UK time tomorrow, which is 1 o'clock Eastern. The world needs to know exactly what's going on in the UK at the moment. As far as I'm concerned, we are under attack by our own government. It's as simple as that. It really, really is. Apologies for the tissue. It's hay fever. It's annoying. It's awful. And I'm sorry. But there we go. So yeah, with that being said, guys, let's jump into the second topic for today's live stream, because yeah, reports are coming through that Megxie is now looking at contacting divorce lawyers to divorce Hazza after Netflix is gone. What is going on? Well, let's jump into it right now. Hey up everyone, it's me, Stef The Alter Nerd, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to the Dose of the Daily Nerd, where I break down the royal news and gossip of the day that's pretty much caught me eye. And oh my goodness, yeah, let's jump into this madness, shall we? Because reports are coming through that Megxie is now considering divorcing Hazza since Netflix has axed them. Now, this is coming in from Radar Online. They're calling it their exclusive. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry dead on Netflix, and how their streaming career being killed could spark pair's divorce announcement. And so here they've been speaking to sources. And according to multiple industry insiders, they're saying that the streamer has no appetite for renewing their contract. They claim that the dream has fizzled out due to underwhelming viewer data and waning public interest, with one source saying, quote, "She had everything going for her, name, platform and publicity, but the viewing numbers for the show, i.e. with Love Meghan, were dismal. This deal is dead." Now, of course, Meghan and Harry relied on this deal to sustain their finances. But without it, as this insider is saying right here, they now could be headed for bankruptcy. Now, the things coming in here in terms of the data is absolutely shocking. Like, I knew that their shows didn't do well, but shiz the freaking bed. They absolutely tanked. Despite a modest 5.3 million views, the figure was eclipsed by the streaming resurgence of Suits. Netflix top show in the same time frame, Adolescence, logged 145 million views. Squid Game followed with 117 million. He's been absolutely eclipsed. Now, one Netflix source says, quote, "There was initial curiosity about them, but that's evaporated. They've gone from buzzy to background noise." And even Hazza's show, Polo, I'm not surprised that the viewings were even less than Megxie's. Garnered just over 500,000 views. That's absolutely freaking pathetic. No wonder Netflix is saying bye-bye to him. Now, insiders say that Megxie and Hazza have struggled with creative direction when it comes to their content. One streaming source described Hazza's and Megxie's show as well lit but flat. While another said they're not natural content creators. They're trying to be what they think the public wants rather than being authentic. And this is the thing, right? With this source turning around and saying that Hazza and Megxie have struggled with creative direction, that brings me to mind what Bill Simmons said when Spotify dumped them a couple of years ago, right? Bill Simmons called them effing grifters. That's essentially the main headline that everyone remembers. What people, I think, are more forgetful on is what else he said, which, he turns around and he says, I was on a call with Hazza trying to, pitch him ideas, this, that, and the other, and he wasn't having any of it. And he turned around and said, that could be a fire show for me to do one day, right? To discuss, that conversation, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, they're not natural content creators at all. Spotify learned pretty early on. Netflix, yeah, they took it to the bitter end, guys. They really, really did. Now, one insider is also saying that Netflix are just waiting for the credits to roll. Bosses see commissioning any more content from this pair as a total waste of money. And now it looks like Megxie reportedly is waiting for the credits to roll, but on her marriage with Hazza, and press that divorce button. Because now the blame game begins. Who's at fault for the Netflix deal falling through? In Megxie's eyes, is it herself? Is it Hazza? Is it both? Well, as far as I'm concerned, I believe if Megxie has her way, she'll blame Hazza all day long, as alleged narcissistic nutbags from hell can never take the blame themselves. And as the Netflix deal fizzles out and Megxie goes more and more into her failed as ever brand, she professionally and money-wise needs Hazza less and less. Because what have I always said? I believe she'll divorce Hazza when she feels she's comfortable enough to bring in the money herself without having to be married to Hazza. And let's put it this way. She's reportedly trying to strike a deal out on her own with Netflix. Here is the Daily Mail reporting Meghan apparently is locked in negotiations for a new Netflix deal with her current contract set to expire. Now, this article's not saying Meghan and Harry are locked in negotiations for a new Netflix deal. It's just Meghan. It's just Megxie. So to me, it does look like we are getting closer and closer to that scenario that I've said all along. That Megxie will push the divorce button when she feels that she can get the big bucks on her own without having to have Hazza in the contract as well. Yeah. Think about it. Hazza's not in the picture there. And I don't think he's going to be in the Montecito picture overall for too long at this point. So with that being said, those watching live, stay exactly where you are, whether you're watching on YouTube or on X, because we're going to get into the third story in a moment. Has Meghan failed to get a new streaming contract from a Netflix rival? We're going to have some fun with this one. So those watching live, stay exactly where you are. I'm not done with you guys yet, but please do make sure you subscribe to join our Alter Nerd tribe on YouTube. If you're watching on X and you want more misadventures of the gruesome twosome, make sure you're following me at Stef The Alter Nerd. Like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. Do you agree with me? Do you believe that Megxie is going to push that divorce button after the Netflix contract officially runs out in a couple of months' time? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Again, those watching live, stay exactly where you are. I'm not done with you guys yet. But for those watching on the replay, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate all your faces. And until the next time, you guys, laters. All right, and that was the second story for today's live stream. We're going to get into a third one in a moment. Let's see what you guys have been saying in the live chat on YouTube. Let's see. Flapper27, yeah, Blake Lively is trying to challenge our free speech too. Yeah. I mean, she's literally subpoenaed me big brother, Annie Signor, over on Popcorn Planet. It's freaking insane. But yeah, she's made it worse for herself. How could she think it was the best idea in the whole wide world to do that? How did she not think that was going to backfire on her? Seriously, she's the freaking bed. Back in the day, if Amber the Turd did that during the whole Justice for Johnny Depp saga, oh my goodness, wow. If she thought she had the biggest backlash ever in her life, at least Amber the Turd, right? At least had a couple of brain cells and didn't do what Blake Lively has just done, at the very least, all right? Credit where credit's a little bit due there. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Animalian01, hey up, mate, how's it going? Whoops, late again, but I'm here now. Do you know what? At least you're here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate your face. Let's have a look. Very Sweet Kate Co says, was there a prenup involved? Allegedly, no. There wasn't a prenup involved. And the other thing that you guys also have to know about prenups is that in the UK, technically speaking, prenups actually aren't a thing over here. They're not technically legally, what's the word? Yeah, they're not legally technically accepted in the courts. However, over the last couple of years, for high-profile divorce cases, prenups have been taken into account. It's a bit dodgy that way, but yeah. So yeah, even if there was a prenup involved, if they divorce in the UK, it means nothing, really, in the grand scheme of things. But if they divorce in America, which most likely will do, if there was a prenup, then yeah, there's more of a chance of it being enforced. But word on the street is there's no prenup. So there we go. And, you know, you think that Megsy would agree to a prenup? She'd get more without a prenup, and she'd know that. Let's be real here, right? See what else you guys are saying. Teresa Brown says, I've been saying for ages that once their Netflix contract goes, so will their marriage. This is marriage based on money in contracts. Yep, I would agree with that. Chris Mills, my goodness, thank you so much for that very kind £10 sugar book saying, could the pair of them afford divorce lawyers? If Hazza stops with the rest of his kind of tirade against mainstream media and drops the rest of his legal cases, then potentially he can afford divorce lawyers. Megsy? Oh, hell yeah. You don't think she's been squirreling away the millions in like a secret account, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, to then use and fall back on to divorce him with? Opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. Let's see what else you guys are saying before we jump into the third topic for today's live stream. Jeffrey Granwell, of course we'll get a divorce and it's going to be a Netflix exclusive named The Meg. Oh, you guys crack me up. Oh my goodness, you guys proper crack me up. Wow. Three-eyed catfish saying, hello everyone, I'm late. Not a problem. Thank you so much for tuning in anyway. Appreciate your face. In the meantime, let's get into the third topic for today's live stream because, yeah, even though earlier on I reported on that article where only Megsy now is trying to beg a contract from Netflix on her own without Hazza, apparently that's after she tried to go to Netflix rivals and try and get new streaming contracts from them instead. How do you think that went down? Hey up everyone, it's me, Stef The Alter Nerd, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to the Dose of the Daily Nerd, where I break down the royal news and gossip of the day that's pretty much caught me eye. And oh my goodness, yeah, let's jump into this madness, shall we? Because Megsy, yeah, reports are coming in that she has begged from Netflix rivals to get a new streaming contract from them. And guess what? She's failed. Big time. Now, here is the article from the Daily Mail, and they're turning around and saying that Megsy, and only Megsy alone, right, is trying to get a brand new deal from Netflix. Mail on Sunday can reveal that the second series of With Love Meghan will be the first show to air under the renewed agreement, and it's due for release this autumn. Last night, sources close to Netflix said, make no mistake, a deal is being worked through as we speak. Now, I think, first and foremost, this is Team Sussex trying to do some damage control and be like, Megs is working out a separate deal with Netflix, not all is lost. Yeah. It is! Sources have said their relationship effectively with Netflix is now dead in the water. Now, could this also mean that her marriage to Hazza will also end up being dead in the water? Could this essentially be Meg's first step on her road to eventually divorce Hazza and try and get a new streaming contract, whether that's from Netflix or from a Netflix rival? Now, here on X, we've got a fan of the Prince and Princess of Wales at Tribes Britannia seeing that article and reacting with, bye, Harry. Yeah, does look like that, right? And it's not just Netflix that allegedly she's trying to renegotiate with, because apparently she's now clutching at straws, trying to get anyone to buy. But it's not working. So here again on X, we've got Royally Sage at Sage1411 sharing this blind item. Now, please make sure you are following Royally Sage on X, because as far as I'm concerned, they share the best blind items when it comes to Hazza and Megsy. And here, the blind item is from Secondhand Coke saying the following: she may be trying to get to Hulu, but they aren't interested. She thought she had Paramount in the bag, then Brian Robbins got the axe. So all that time she spent polishing his and his wife's buttholes was for nothing, allegedly. And Royally Sage commenting on this blind item, saying Rachel is putting out desperate feelers everywhere, considering Hulu is run by Disney, and Disney put the delicious quote of Rachel needing them more than they need her. I seriously doubt Hulu would do a deal. They're all seeing the poor performance at Netflix. Now, please bear in mind, okay, that this is a blind item. Take it with a pinch of salt. Do your own research, come to your own conclusions. But the reactions to all of this have come in. And here, first and foremost, we've got Nancy Sidley from the Sidley Twins. Make sure you're following Nancy on X, but also as well following the Sidley Twins on YouTube, saying ultimately Megsy is scared shizzless. Yeah, I bet she is. They were banking, I bet you what, they were banking on that Netflix deal being extended, being renewed. And now it's not. She's running around like a headless chicken, trying to clutch at straws, trying to get a new streaming contract from Netflix rivals. And yeah, according to that blind item, she's failed spectacularly because the rivals have seen the poor performance and they're like, you're not worth it, love. Piss off. You tried, you failed. Go to your As Never brand and fail there as well. We also have Brittany from Royal News Network. Again, make sure you're following Brittany on X, but also as well on YouTube as well, saying, look, we finally have some attempt at damage control from Meghan's team, but it's a bit too late. Even if Meghan is renegotiating for herself, in no way will she see the same sort of deal. A first look deal is the most viable option, which is for a smaller amount of money. And this is the thing, yeah, she's not going to get the same sort of deal. I mean, think about it. When Spotify dumped him, that contract was reportedly $20 million. Since then, who picked her up? Lemonada. I only know about Lemonada because of Megsy, that's it. Lemonada is not that well known, doesn't have as much money as Spotify. You think Lemonada offered her the same as Spotify, 20 million? Not a chance. Not a freaking chance in hell. Brittany then goes on to say, also, Netflix did give her capital for as ever, but it's clear they're not engaged with it at all. They're not. I did a video the last couple of weeks. For those that don't know, Netflix actually has a restaurant in Las Vegas. And when you look at their menu is named after, you know, Netflix series like Stranger Things and Squid Game and whatnot. There's not one mention of Megxie in that menu at all. And not one mention of any of her as ever products. You'd think as a partner, they've got a restaurant, that they would sell Megxie's stuff through their restaurant. They're not even doing that. They're not even doing that, you guys. So Netflix has put zero effort behind supporting it. This was just an experiment that they didn't care whether it succeeded or failed. As if instead of leaning on a pathetic, as if they did care, they would fire Meghan and put in a team of professionals instead of leaning on her pathetic leadership and management. Her offerings are meagre at best and failed to break, grow, or cultivate an audience. But Netflix, as ever, is hoping to cash in on the divorce. That's the only way the couple can make the big bucks at this point. Yeah, it is. And I think I said this on Friday's live stream, that it makes no sense then at that point that if the only card they've got to play left is their divorce, that they actually lock down a contract with any streamer. Why? Because if they lock down another contract with a streamer, then when, not if, as far as I'm concerned, but when they get divorced, they're then obligated to provide their divorce story to that particular streamer. Whereas, if they're not tied into any streamer whatsoever, it means, like Megxie's memoirs, there's going to be a bidding war. Megxie and Azza will earn more money if they're not tied to another streamer. Then they get divorced and then there's a bidding war. Because all the streamers will outbid each other. And it's just going to go into stupid, silly money at that point for Azza and Megxie. What do you guys think? But ultimately, going around full circle, on the news that Netflix has dumped Azza and Megxie, Megxie is now trying to negotiate on her own a new Netflix contract, which isn't working. And she's gone round Hollywood, allegedly, trying to get a new contract from Netflix rivals. And even they've turned around and said, bog off, we've seen your numbers, you ain't freaking worth it, go to yours never brand. And, you know, stay in that corner and, you know, don't really emerge ever again, because you and content creation just doesn't go hand in hand. You are not a content creator, you failed. Done and freaking dusted. You ain't worth $100 million. You're not worth the freaking toilet paper I wipe my backside on. That kind of thing. Oh, she failed and she's failed massively. With that being said, on that kind of little rant there that I had, if you appreciated this and you want more, and believe me, of course, there's going to be more, then make sure you subscribe to join our Alter Nerd tribe here on YouTube. If you're watching on X, make sure you're following me at Stef Alter Nerd for more misadventures of the gruesome twosome. Like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. Are you surprised that allegedly the Netflix rivals have turned around to Megxie and essentially told her to bog off? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. For those watching live, stay exactly where you are, because thanks to you lot, we have been able to unlock the bonus Azza and Megxie story for today's live stream. And yeah, Megxie's huge wedding secret shocks the internet as Samantha Markle has reacted to it. Yeah, we're going to get into the bonus Azza and Megxie story in a moment. So for those watching live, stay exactly where you are. For those watching on the replay, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate all your faces. And until the next time, you guys, laters. All right, and that was the third Azza and Megxie story for today's live stream. We're going to get into the bonus one in a moment. Let's see what you guys have been saying in the YouTube live chat. Sarah, hey, update from Sarah. I've nearly finished my online food shop, Steph. Yes! Love it, love it, love it. Oh my goodness, yeah. Online food shop is like the best ever. Let's see what else you guys are saying before we jump into the bonus. Hazza and Meg's story. Let's have a gander here. Flapper27 says, any money Megzy has made while married to Hazza is community property. Correct. However, it depends on the date of separation. She turns around and says the date of separation was like a year or two ago. The whole game changes. This is the thing, right? There have been rumours over the last couple of years that they're not even living together. That Hazza allegedly has a hotel room that he stays at most of the time. Think about it. I can't remember what the name is. It's San Fernando, but that's San Fernando Valley. Hotel room. A very, very exclusive one where one of the rules is that you don't talk to the guests unless you're invited to, and you can't talk about who's there, and you can't talk about the hotel itself or anything like that. It's like Fight Club, the first rule of Fight Club, you don't talk about Fight Club. It's kind of like that. But yeah, it depends on when Megzy lists the date of separation. Like I said, there's been rumours over the years that they've already separated and they're not even living together. So, yeah, things will be interesting, I think, when they do divorce. Not if, but when, in my opinion. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Wendy Marino asks the big SM, how are you so amazing with the deets, SM? Because he's the big SM, that's why. That is why. Teresa Brown, I've heard this one, that Lemonada has been sold to Swedish podcasting company Podox. Yeah, they've been trying to sell for a while, I've noticed. And what's very interesting is that Megzy hasn't announced a second season for Confessions of a Female Flounder. Yeah, I wonder why. So yeah. Teresa Brown says she'll never see a $100 million contract ever again. No. The closest she'll get to will be the divorce and her memoirs. That's going to be the closest she's ever going to see that kind of money again. Absolutely. Because you think she's going to make millions through that sodding brand of hers? Not a chance. She's got an issue. As always, Megsy's not liked, trusted, or related. So if people don't like, trust, and relate to her, then people are not going to like, trust, and relate to what she's trying to sell in the first place. To me, it's that simple. It really, really is. Let's see. Oh, Stephen Magnus in the chat, gifting 1 leadership to one of you lucky lots out there. So everyone say, hey, up to our newest leader, courtesy of the Big SM. And that only means one thing, guys. Officially, the gifting wars, thanks to the Big SM, have begun. So thank you so much to the Big SM for kicking off today's gifting wars. Appreciate you first, mate. Thank you so much. Animalian01, this is funny as hell. I heard Megan's going to go for a job as a QVC presenter. Oh, dude, yes. I have not watched QVC for time. I would tune in for that mess. I really, really would. Hands freaking down. And yes, Mic Drop Lisa, thank you so much. The San Vicente bungalows. That's what I was talking about earlier on. Mic Drop Lisa in for the win. Appreciate your face. Let's get into, yeah, guys. Let's get into the bonus Hazza and Megzy story for today's live stream. So, Ms. M's just come in, gifting 1 leadership to one of you lucky lots out there. So everyone say, hey, up to our newest leader, courtesy of Ms. M. Yeah, let's jump into the bonus Hazza and Megzy story for today's live stream. Big, massive thanks to those that were able to contribute towards today's Super Chat goal. Appreciate your faces. But yeah, let's jump into the bonus Hazza and Megzy story right now. Hey up everyone, it's me, Stef The Alter Nerd, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to the Dose the Daily Nerd, where I break down the royal news and gossip of the day that's pretty much caught me eye. And oh my goodness, yeah, let's jump into this madness, shall we? Because Megzy, yeah, she ain't gonna like this one. Her huge wedding secret has just been exposed, and yeah, Samantha Markle, she's reacted to this. She has commented on this. Now, please bear in mind that this information, it is from what I would consider potentially to be a blind item. Potentially, okay? Do your own research, come to your own conclusions, all that malarkey. But thank you first and foremost to Sheila MS at QuickBeam71 for sharing this from the St. Meghan Markle Reddit. Shout out to the SMM Reddit out there. You guys are freaking amazing. And here they're saying the following. According to Sean, who said yesterday that he didn't expect this gossip because everything that had happened was supposedly already known, Megzy didn't want Thomas Markle to walk her down the aisle. Not only because of Thomas's appearance, but because that was inferior to her. This is a huge wedding secret that allegedly is being exposed. Now, they're going to say she wanted their wedding photo to appear in the history books. Sean said in a previous video that the Queen wasn't told that Charles would walk Megzy down the aisle, and that she told someone something like, Megzy wanted that because she knew it would be historic, a Prince of Wales giving away his son's future wife. But Sean said yesterday that Megsy's first choice was William, and for the same reason she wanted William's reign to be tied to the image of him walking her down the aisle. Chilling. It all started when Harry didn't want William to be his best man. And Sean makes it clear that Harry allegedly lied about that in Spare. And then Megzy told him, quote, then let him walk me down the aisle. He's not your best man. We wouldn't break any rules. But the real reason was that Megzy really liked William and William's prestige. And in photos and videos throughout William's reign, there would always be that picture of him walking her down the aisle. Yes, she would have wanted him to be the groom, but she settled for him to escort her. Not only did William refuse, but when the Queen found out what she wanted, she completely rejected the idea. She and Prince Philip flatly refused. Then Megzy said she would walk down the aisle alone. But secretly, she got Harry to convince Charles, and that caught the Queen by surprise. Very, very, very rude situation, but that's the full scoop on that matter. And so I read that and I thought, well, hang on a minute. I just wonder what Samantha Markle makes of all of that. And so I asked her, what do you think to this? And then I clarified. I said, look, do you believe that Meghan initially wanted Prince William to walk her down the aisle? That she didn't want your father to do the honours because it somehow would not look right walking down the aisle with him in the, quote, historic photos? Now, Samantha actually replied. Now, let me be very clear on this. Whether you believe her or not, whether you agree with her or not, she replied, so I'm just going to go through what she said, okay, in answer to my question. And so let's go with her first reply here. She says, look, I don't think that was it at all. I think the greater likelihood was keeping everyone away from the wedding who would talk and contradict the whopper lies that she told the royal family and the world. Uncle Mike, who worked from and retired from the embassy, was also not invited. Why? In my opinion, because she never worked for the embassy and the lie would come out. She did a 5-week study program that Dad paid for, and that's all she did. She received no paycheck. It was not a job, but she told Rachel Ray and Craig Ferguson and the world that she worked for the embassy. People drink champagne at receptions and they get comfortable talking about life. Surely it would come out that she never worked for the embassy and that Dad paid for all of her education and most everything in her life. Wow, can of worms right out the gate. No, it seemed easier to try to rationalize some reason that she would be embarrassed or that he was not worthy rather than admit to keeping everyone away who could talk the Raglans, the Markles, all of us including our uncle who retired from the United States Embassy. You would think that she would be proud of our Emmy Award-winning father and an uncle who worked for the embassy. She then says if she did want William to walk down the aisle, it was likely a fantasy because he's the heir. In my opinion, I don't think that was the biggest motivator behind keeping my dad or anyone else away from the wedding. That may have been secondary in her dream life. And in historic photos, it would have put her in a better favourable public light having my dad walk down the aisle. It would show gratitude, love, family, unity, and I think it would speak volumes globally about great fathers and how they contribute to our lives. She should have just shown him love and appreciation. That would have said a lot about her character or lack of, as in this case. Not worthy, though, she would invite 300 strangers from the public to the royal wedding and not family. But she was not close with our uncle who worked for the embassy, as he only met her once when she was a very small baby. Nonetheless, he wrote a letter of recommendation for her that she should have at least shown gratitude for by sending him an invite to the wedding. She did it because he's highly credible and would start talking about the fact that she never worked for the embassy. And by the way, you can look up the article of our Uncle Mike, who retired from the Air Force and the embassy, who was disappointed that he didn't get an invite to the royal wedding. He was kind enough to write a letter of recommendation for the study programme that she attended for 5 weeks. As a favour to Dad, he wrote the letter and wasn't even invited to the wedding. Talk about ungrateful and rude. So funny, LOL, I was thinking today in hindsight, the royal wedding doesn't even matter anymore. It doesn't matter whose motives were what. It doesn't matter that it was a disaster. It's over, no doubt. People will talk about it for decades, but what a waste of energy. My attitude is that if everyone was stupid enough to go along with it and stand in the ant line, even now they must be like dealing with it. It doesn't matter why they did what they did, shiz happens. And I don't know about you all, but I am so bored with it. I did think retrospectively about that wedding, that farce in my opinion. I don't really care about that wedding anymore. Aside from the fact that it is a total joke in history, I think it's weird that so many people stood in the ant line and regret it now. Yeah. The Beckhams, the Clooneys, the cast from Suits, just to name a few, right, guys? But yeah. Going around full circle, guys, allegedly, Meg's huge wedding secret has been exposed. Samantha Markle kindly answered my question about it and she's reacted. And she's turning around and she's not, by my interpretation of her answers, she's not ruling this out. But what she's saying is, yeah, it's possible that could have happened. But I don't think that was the main thing that she wanted, or the main reason why she didn't want her father to walk her down the aisle. My interpretation of what Samantha has said when I asked her about this is essentially, no, I don't think that's the main motivation as to why she didn't want her father to walk her down the aisle. The main motivation in Samantha's mind is that to keep her family away from the royals as much as possible, because through the truth, they would contradict everything that Megxie has said and would expose her lies that she said to the royal family, allegedly. And that, yeah, it is possible that Megxie wanted Prince William to walk her down the aisle for all those reasons, but that's secondary. There's a secondary reason as to why she didn't want her father to walk her down the aisle in the first place. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. But yeah, going around full circle, that is Megxie's alleged huge wedding secret exposed. And Samantha Markle kindly has reacted to it. With that being said, guys, those watching live, stay exactly where you are on YouTube and X. I'm not done with you guys yet. But if you haven't done so already, please do make sure you subscribe to join our Alter Nerd tribe here on YouTube. If you're watching on X, make sure you're following me at Stef Alter Nerd for more misadventures of the gruesome twosome. Like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. What do you think to this huge wedding bombshell and Samantha's answer to it all? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Again, those watching live, stay exactly where you are. I'm not done with you guys yet. But for those watching on the replay, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate all your faces. And until the next time, you guys, laters. All right, and that was the bonus Hazard and Megsy story for today's live stream. Big, massive, extra special thanks to those that were able to contribute towards today's Super Chat goal. Appreciate your faces. Thank you so much. Let's go through some of your comments on the YouTube live before we end today's stream. Let's have a gander here. Hey, King Bob's Queen in the chat. Hey up, how's it going? Jesse581, thank you so much for gifting a leadership to one of you lucky lots out there. So everyone say, hey up to our newest leader, courtesy of Jesse581. Appreciate your face. Thank you so much. Stephen Magnus, thank you so much for that very kind £5 sugar bucks, saying, but after the divorce TV shows, the Meghan life story book, what would Meghan have then to sell? Late night chat shows, guest cooking slots. She's done. At that point, if you're asking what else has she got left, pretty much asking that is answering it at the same time. She's got nothing. If let's put it this way, if you knew what else she had to sell, you wouldn't be asking in the first place what else she has to sell. Does that make sense? There you go. Yeah, she's got nothing else. Apart from the divorce and her memoirs, she's done. And to be fair, the royal family will be very, very pleased and relieved at that, I would imagine. For damn certain. Ingrid Cedar says, oversaturated is oversaturated. There's not a lot of interest in them. No, because they just... How do I put this? They keep regurgitating the same story and it's just getting fucking boring. Mind my language, sorry guys. But it really is. It really is. We're the victims. The royal family are evil. Please like us. Buy our shiz. Watch our shiz. No. No. And no. I gotta watch the shiz because it's my job to do it. I watch it so you guys don't have to, but seriously. Don't. I implore you. If you want to keep your brain cells, seriously, stay away from Hazard and Megsy's shows because it's a surefire way of, killing some of your brain cells. Let's put it that way. But yeah, oversaturated is definitely oversaturated. I absolutely agree. When you bang on that same narrative, you find that the audience you originally had, over time it dwindles because they get bored. It's like, well, give us something new, say something new, do something new. Instead, it's a broken freaking record. Yeah, they're done. Hazard and Megsy are done. Berry Sweet Cake Co says she doesn't even know Oprah either till after the wedding. Yeah. I mean, a lot of the celebrities that were there at the wedding, it was like, hang on a minute, how does Hazard and Megsy know these people again? Insane. Let's see. Lemon Trifle says Markle is in the gutter again. Yep. Oh, Saj, thank you so much for the $2 sugar bucks and my favourite. Virgin Doggy Fine Arts moment. I love it. Thank you so much. For those that don't know, this is my favourite super chat sticker. Why? This is a ginger doggy. There are hearts coming from the tail, and when you lift the tail from a doggy, what's directly underneath? The butthole. Therefore, this is a ginger doggy fighting arts moment. You'll never be able to ever unsee it ever again. You're welcome. That's why whenever I see this thing, it always makes me smile, because it's a ginger doggy fighting arts moment. It's so much fun. It really is. Oh my goodness. Chris Mills says they have more repeats than the BBC. Dude, you're hilarious. I love it. Thank you so much. With that being said, guys, thank you so much to everyone that's tuned in, whether you're watching live on YouTube or on X. I appreciate your faces. Make sure, if you haven't done so already, you subscribe to join our Alter Nerd tribe here on YouTube. And if you're watching on X and you want more misadventures of the gruesome twosome, please make sure you're following me at Stef Alter Nerd. Also, as well, if you don't know, I am doing an emergency Red Alert broadcast tomorrow, 6 o'clock UK time, 1 o'clock Eastern, on my second channel, Political Nerds. If you're not subscribed to Political Nerds, for those on YouTube, The link is pinned right at the top of the live chat. It's also in the description bar below. For those watching on X, again, just make sure you're following me at Stef The Alter Nerd because I'll be live on there as well for the Red Alert broadcast. And yeah, guys, this is an important one. I'm calling this an emergency Red Alert broadcast because it really, really is. The government is now trying to censor and control us online in the UK through what they're calling the Online Safety Act that's just come into law. The UK, I shit you not, as far as I'm concerned, is now being ruled by a dictatorship. So please, it's so important. The world needs to know what the hell is going on in the UK at the moment. Tune in tomorrow for the Red Alert broadcast at 6 o'clock UK time, 1 o'clock Eastern, because, yeah, the world needs to know what our government is doing to us, is doing against us. I shit you not. More people are getting knocks at the door from the police because of hurty words on the internet. And I shit you not, part of the Online Safety Act dictates that if there's anything untoward that's said about illegal immigrants, oh yeah, you could get arrested, could get a knock on the door from police. I shit you not. So please make sure you tune in to the emergency Red Alert broadcast tomorrow, 6 o'clock UK time, 1 o'clock Eastern, either on YouTube at Political Nerds or on X at Stef The Alter Nerd. Also as well, next week, for those that don't know, I mentioned this right at the beginning, but I'll say it at the end as well, just to bookend it all. Tuesday, I'm going to be in hospital. I'm having an operation. No need to worry. I've had worse operations, best believe. This one, I'm going to be in and out. They say I'm going to be in for like a few hours and then they're going to kick me out the same day. So next week, when it comes to content and the live streams, just bear with me. I don't know what to expect. I've never had this kind of operation before. So yeah, I don't know what to expect myself in terms of what I'm going to be like afterwards. Hopefully I'll be back the next day doing what I love and you watching what you love, right? Hopefully, fingers crossed. But if that don't happen, now you know why. So please bear that in mind. And next week, please bear with me if there isn't as much content as usual, whether that's here on Stef The Alter Nerd or over on Political Nerds. Like I say, fingers crossed I can be back the next day, but we'll just take it a day at a time and see what happens, all right? But thanks to everyone in the YouTube live chat for your well wishes, your kindness and your compassion over that. It's hugely appreciated. As you can tell, I'm a bit nervous at the moment talking about it because, yeah, I'm nervous about it. Like I said, I've never had this kind of operation before. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what I'm going to be like after. I'm like, I just want to get it over and done with now. Like, done and dusted. So, yeah. With that being said, on that bombshell, thank you so much to everyone that's tuned in, whether on YouTube or on X. Thank you so much to everyone that's liked this stream, again, whether on YouTube or X. Thanks as well to everyone that's kept me company in the live chat. Big, massive thank you to everyone that's been kind enough, generous enough, and able enough, of course, to send super chat stickers, member-only chats, or gifted leaderships. Thank you so much. Special thanks to everyone that's been able to contribute to today's super chat goal. Appreciate your faces. Enjoy the rest of your weekend wherever you are in the world. I hope you have a wonderful week next week. And until the next time, you guys, laters.